Hello, YouTube. How is everybody doing? And welcome to this afternoon's session with me, Kody Ashmore. And in this session, this is basically the Q&A. I was told it was a ask me anything uh, type of session. What's going on, Mirza? So I guess I will go ahead and open up the floors. Feel free to ask me anything. But I guess I introduce myself. My name is Kody Ashmore, Director of Weekly Option Strategies. And I guess to say something a little about myself is kind of like my go-to strategies. I enjoy, well, honestly, day trading, 0 days to expirations, and then I also do like shorter term swing trading, basically anywhere from we'll call it I don't know anywhere from 18 to maybe 10 days is kind of like the sweet spot for me. But if you have any questions, feel free to throw them on out there, and I'll feel free to give you any answer I can. Tesla. You tell me about Tesla. What do you want to know about it? Hello, Amir, and also welcome to the team. I'm gonna have to ask you in person one day how to pronounce your last name because I will completely mess that up. Looks awesome though. So Nihan, if you have, I want to know what you think about Tesla. Okay, well, tell me more. Why is it a buy? Tell me why you want to buy it, where you think it's going to go, and where you think you're wrong. I think the semis are going to pull back, Doug. Short-term move. I think it looks like it wants to. It made a lower high, and it looks like it might want to come back and retest the gap on the lower side. Yeah, I talked about this earlier. Um, excuse me, in the options room, but it made a lower high. It's looking like it wants to potentially pull back as far as SMH goes. Right here, we made a high, made a higher high, made a lower high. If it does break this little trend line, I think we want to flush back down. I don't know about flush, but move lower back towards about 143, 140-ish level. Yeah, just about down. So basically, which is called 140. The gap I'm referring to is a little tiny gap, basically about 141-ish to about basically the swing low. That's if it plays out. That's just kind of how I'm looking at this. Orange level is a level of resistance I've been watching, and we're there and we're kind of consolidating. And if we break this little spot right here, I think we potentially may pull lower. And there is a squeeze looking to move lower as well. And if that does play out, that will fuel the fire to the downside, unless this turns into just a slingshot squeeze and we ramp higher. So about basically, so we'll call it 143 to 140. We'll call it 140, 142 or 3. 140, 143. If I could make that any more confusing. Yeah, you're welcome. Alrighty. Let's see over here. You're welcome, Doug. Just kind of how I was viewing that one. So, Freddie, how can can I share how to configure my chart setup? Well, sure. Let's see. So, as far as everything that is not, we'll say, premium indicator. Let me get my little pin. So first, you have your Keltner channels. All they are is you just go to your studies, and then you have your Keltner channels, and you'll add one, two, and three. So this is the third ATR band, the second ATR, and the blue one is the one. And then there is the 21 EMA and the 34 EMA right there. And then this is the Squeeze Pro, but this is you can just add the regular TTM squeeze. And this right here is basically a premium indicator. It just tells me which direction the indexes and sectors are going. And this down here, this volatility metrics down here is also a premium little indicator thing that tells me where all the implied volatility and whatnot is on a ticker. And that's the same here. This is all premium as well up here, but this is on the daily chart, and then I have a 1 hour chart right here, which is a regular Squeeze Pro here with the same concept of the one, two, and three ATR Keltner channels right there. But as far as this configuration goes, that's pretty much how it goes there. Everything else on there is um, basically premium paid for. Did any of that make sense, Doug? Or Doug, I mean Freddie. Well, the premium indicators. What's the name of the premium? So if you want this entire setup, like basically what I have right here, um, this entire charting platform, not to like really toot the horn on it, but we have a webinar coming out on Wednesday with John Carter, Allison Ostrander, and myself. And the webinar is basically to teach individuals or traders really how to place high probability trades based off of this charting platform right here. And with the class, you get Um, you'll get all of this and this, but you won't get the TTM Squeeze Pro. You'll have to upgrade to that one, I believe. But anyways, the name of the premium indicators, like this is the utility labels. Here are the universal labels, and then this is just the volatility metrics. But all of it is included in that class that's about to be coming out, except for the Squeeze Pro. Oh, of course it's recorded. That is correct. Always recorded. Everything around here is recorded, Freddie. Everything. Everything that we do is watched and recorded. But yes, it will be recorded for those. So if you sign up on the link, I don't know if Mirza, I'm sure he's on top of it already getting the link. If you sign up for it, yep, it's already telling you right there. You'll get the replay sent right to your email, and then you can watch it at your own convenience. But the setup is Um, the goal there is to talk about trading plans and how to utilize this particular trade setup just by focusing on three main price action concepts, really. Oh yeah, no big deal. I mean, absolutely. Watch the recording. So thank you, Mirza. Microsoft. I think Microsoft is pulling back. Are you in Microsoft there, Dr. Bob? Tell me what you think about Microsoft. What are you doing with Microsoft? The reason I ask is usually when there's someone that throws out a ticker out, they're wanting confirmation in what they are seeing. I want to know what you are seeing. You seeing on Condor? Okay. To me personally, I think it does. It's rallied up into resistance for a while. A lot of people have been wanting to buy Microsoft. For me personally, just the way I view things, and not to say anyone's more right than wrong. It's really not. It's just a preference of trader, of how each trader trades. Like for me, it looks great right here for a dip buy, but if you take a little bit of a scroll back, you're rallying right up into resistance. And for me, I do think it wants to consolidate or potentially even pull back, maybe even pull back quite a bit, in my opinion. And the reason I say quite a bit is really because it had a huge extension into resistance. We're starting to break down right here, and there's a 30 or sorry, yeah, daily squeeze starting to go negative, and so it can either consolidate up here or potentially pull back a little bit deeper, really. But I don't see any real reason to be overly concerned that it's completely going to turn down a lot, other than this whole new rebalance thing they just announced yesterday, over the weekend. They announced they're going to rebalance the queues. Anything that has anything that is over than 4% weighted in the queues is going to get a complete rebalance. Kind of like so like I think it was Microsoft, was it like 12%? So basically, ultimately, if they rebalance it, I would anticipate the if they rebalance it, then I think Microsoft might dip. I think I could be completely wrong, but I don't see a setup. If we were to play it, really, I don't see a play on it because it's rolling up at this resistance level, so I didn't want to go long. If anything, I would anticipate some type of consolidation between this range right here. So 320 to, we'll call it 350. You can play a condor right here as long as that rebalancing doesn't affect it. You short a 320, 305 put credit spread for August. Well, you may be right there. That's where I would anticipate some support to be. As long as that rebalance isn't completely blessed right through, you might be all right. Depending on how much you got for it, it might be okay to deal with it. But it is certainly that's where, if I was to put a short spread there, that's where I would do it. Yeah, if you're looking for a condor, that could be ideal right there. Dr. Bob. That whole one right there gives you $6 of credit. Well, if that's what's worth it for you, I mean, it makes sense. If you want to do a Iron Condor, so there's several things to be concerned about here. There, Dr. Bob. That's what you have. It's underwater now. Okay. So let me ask you this. More importantly, there, Dr. Bob, where were you going to admit you're wrong on doing the Condor? I say, are you a bit underwater now? Probably, because I mean, it's dropped 2% today. Um, but it shouldn't be underneath too much water considering it's up to August. The gamma exposure is pretty low. So, like, what's your management levels and what you're planning on doing? All right, yeah. So you're 20 cents underwater. That's no big deal. But like, what's your in my opinion, it's not a big deal. But what's your management levels and plan on those management levels? I think that's the important question here. We got scroll here. Okay. You're gonna roll the calls down when delta gets above 15. Okay, so that's your management plan there. All right. But I can certainly see it wanting to consolidate. The only problem though is it's in a squeeze, and more often than not, squeezes do result in greater than expected moves. But if you're down here at 320, that's down at the second ATR, and if the squeeze does move down towards the second ATR, that's okay. Your short strikes there. Um, that may be all the squeeze has, but it really depends if the market how deep the market pulls back. But nonetheless, I can see your thought process there. So I'm not. I can see how that could work out there. But yeah, I mean, if I was to do a condor, that'd be one way to do it. Just be wary of the squeeze. Yeah, you're welcome. But I can see what you're looking at there. Oh, it has it. Okay, I can see that. Aaron, as far as the M pattern, and what are you trading today, A Ron? Traded the ZPs, the bones. T Bird, do I still do? Do the overnight iron fly? I haven't in a while, mainly because I have a whole bunch of other swings on. But that's No real reason other than just because of other swings on T-Bird why I kind of stopped doing the overnight iron fly. But to answer your question, I haven't done it in a while, mainly just because of my other swings. I don't mind doing an iron fly if I don't have too much exposure as far as swings go. But then if I have a lot of exposure to swings, I'll just lay off swinging the indexes and just focus on those individual tickers. Have you been trading? It's been a quiet Q&A session. Guess I'm not as cool as I thought I was. You have mixed outcomes. That's that's fair. The market has been a little bit certainly has been a little bit back and forth. I guess whenever we were first doing them, it was a lot more consistent. But you can certainly say the ranges that the indexes have been doing lately have been expanded, so it makes it a little more tricky to do those type of trades whenever the it's a double risk sided options position, right? Because you have to do more than just pick a direction. You have to pick a spot where you think it's not going to go or not blast through. So that does make it a little bit tricky. But yeah, the outcomes, I can see why the outcomes have been a little bit mixed, simply just because of that factor. They have been outlied. Well, I just actually saw a video the other day by Tasty Trade where they did some back testing, and it was like over the last several months that the index, the SPX, anyways, actually stayed within its expected move only 50%, 51% of the time. So it just tells you how large the moves have turned into. They're expanded. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I think they said since March, maybe. No, that don't make sense. It can't be since March. But I know they said several months though. Thought that was an interesting data point. I did contemplate putting on an iron condor today. Another one. Or not another iron condor, but another 0DT trade. We're kind of smashed right now. That's why I was thinking about it. If you look at it from this perspective. So we have the daily point of control, right? Actually, let me clean this up here. So we have the daily point of control right here. We have the monthly point of control up here, which is at it's basically 40, 50. So we're right here. So the goal is maybe we don't break this high, but if we do oscillate, we just kind of stay within here. I thought about it. I didn't pull the trigger. Those short duration trades get a little tricky like that later in the day. So did not, but contemplated. So you're beginning to turn think 265 is support. Want to trade, put credit spread for next week, I guess, on Tesla. Let's take a look. All right. You think 265 is support? Eh. All right. So I can see your thought process. I really can. But if we look at it, just looking to the left here. So you see this little peak right here where these moving averages cross? I'll draw a line across here. Bam. So that's kind of like where we rally to. You see how we stalled there. Now we're starting to move lower. All right. So you're wanting to put on a put credit spread about 265. Here's my thought on it. I want to tell you there that is not a for me anyways, particularly this year, I'm focusing really heavy on just high probability trades, high probability moment in times, like where I believe the probability is really stacked in my favor, right? And so with that being said, if we rally up here, and Ryan, I see your question. I'll get to that in one moment. So we rallied up to resistance, and right here, 265. Even though it looks like it might be support, there's something you have to acknowledge. That's still one ATR outside here like this. You think Tesla's going to do this? I personally don't. It is a gap fill. It can be support, but as far as being a high probability trade, I don't really view that as it. Like for a setup purpose, all right, we're rolling into earning or we're going into earnings. ADX is green. The beta is 2.3, stacked DMAs. So in a nutshell, what does this tell me? So we're at the top. Oh, I'll add this too. We're at the 78% of its 52-week channel. So of its yearly channel, 60 days. So a quarterly channel basically up by 88%. So in a nutshell, with everything being green, we're starting to print a squeeze. The path of least resistance is to the upside, right? So now you need your entry. For me, the entry is right here. I want it to dip more, get in here, and then look to take it back up if I was to trade it. This is soft support, is what I can call it, or I want to dub that right now, trademark pending. Soft support, whenever this down here is going to be stronger support. So if you want to play a puts credit spread, in my opinion, I think it's worth waiting for a deeper dip, especially after this monster of a run into resistance. Let it oscillate some, you'll catch your dip. Don't let the FOMO get you, then you can take it back up. Is my opinion of it. I'd rather wait for that basically down near 255, 250 zone to grab it for the old snatch and grab. But yes, you're right. 265 can be support, but it's going to be soft support. And then Ryan, I see your question over there on YouTube. So what do I think will happen to the Qs for the rebalance? I really don't know. Ryan, it's kind of like my first uh, that I'm aware of. My first time experiencing this type of special rebalancing is what they're calling it. But I was talking to some of I say the other traders. Actually, Sam and Taylor and I were talking. It's kind of like, well, I don't know. Neither of us, all we can do is assume. And all I'm going to potentially prep for is if the rebalance does occur, or no, when it does occur, all those heavily weighted tickers are going to decrease in value because they're going to take some cash out of it, and then therefore the Qs are going to drop. But the question at that point is, do the dip buyers come right in and buy it right back up, and we're back up and moving? Like, does that cause the reset the market needs to potentially make the next move higher? So, in my opinion, I really don't have a hard set answer as far as what is going to happen. But in my opinion, kind of like you said, what do I think? I think potentially it's going to cause a dip. Now the question is, does the dip get bought? So we'll see. I really don't know. But that's kind of how I'm viewing it, looking for it to cause a dip and then wait to see if it is a buying opportunity or if it shakes the tree a little bit to where things need to be rebalanced. And you also have to remember, most of the market's been moving up on the back of what, 8 tickers, and a lot of those tickers are in the queues. So the question is, does that disrupt it? So something worth watching and being cautious on. But I think Uber has a good squeeze. This will be my last one there, as I do need to take off. But the question is Uber finding support? I know Uber is in a solid squeeze. I looked at this earlier. You're welcome, Ryan. We'll just have to wait and see what unfolds, right? All right, but as far as Uber goes, It is down here at the daily 21 EMA. It's in a squeeze. I think it looks great to the upside. Everything has stacked EMAs is the top of its yearly channel. Um, VWAP is stacked negative, but that's first off, we're only a few days into the month, and it since then it's been causing this pullback. So therefore, we are going to be stacked negative in that concept. But just if we want to see just how negative. Okay, yeah, we're barely negative as far as the VWAP stacking goes. It crossed above it, then barely dipped below. All right, so in my opinion, I think Uber looks great for a squeeze play. It rallied up to almost a 30 ATR, nice orderly pullback to the daily 21 EMA in a squeeze. I mean, it's a great spot to go long here. Stop outside basically 34 EMA and look for that 2 to 3 ATR push. There, triple R. It's kind of my thoughts there. But thank you everyone for hanging out with me on this Q&A session. I do have to be somewhere else right now, but everyone have a great day. Thank you for hanging out with me. And if you're unaware, there is going to be a webinar with John Carter, Allison Ostrander, and myself as we discuss and share with y'all how we've been growing small accounts. If that is something you're interested in finding out, by all means, come check us out on Wednesday. But everyone have a great day, like I said. Thank you, Mirza, for your help, sir. And everyone have a good one. I will catch y'all later. Take care. Well,